Webcast Network. I'm your host, Blanca, and today's show is The Laws of Business Breakthrough, hosted by business expert Bimal Shah. How are you this morning, Bimal?
Good morning. Great. Awesome. Thank you for having me here, Blanca.
It is a pleasure, as I always say, every Monday morning. This is the way to start the week. This is the way to start it, to get motivated, to set goals. So, what are your laws that you are teaching us today?
Well, the most important law of business, change. And change is very hard for many businesses and many entrepreneurs to make. So today I was going to share on how to manufacture change. Change can actually be manufactured. There is a process on how you can bring about change in your life, in your business. And it's very essential in your business because change is the only constant in your business. And when you change, things happen. You have to adapt, you have to pivot, you have to learn, you have to change. So that's one of the key topics. And it's also great to begin Monday mornings for me. It's a pleasure for me, and I'm blessed to begin the Mondays with sharing wisdom and advice that can help others.
Amazing. So let's talk about this change. How do we do that?
So one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs, are hesitant to change is because they don't have a system or a structure on how to implement change. When change is needed, when change is essential. So to make it very easy for the listener, some of the easiest, simplest way I can bring about change is something is not working for you more than half the time, change it. If something is working for you more than half the time, improve it. So similarly, like, you have clothes in your closet. If it's overcrowded and you're not wearing those clothes, you donate it or get rid of it or do something with it. So change is removing something and replacing it with something else. So this is why people have a difficult time changing, because they don't think of it as replacement. It's a replacement of something that you're already doing with your time and replacing it with something that's more efficient and more productive.
I like that. And that's what we have to constantly do. We have to use our highest and best use and constantly improve the model. Why?
Right.
What is the biggest block for people recognizing what works and what doesn't, though?
So it's something is measurability. I would say they are not measuring what worked. They keep doing the same thing over and over again to hope for a better result. And that does not give you a better result, right? So you need to have tracking and measurability. If you measure and track, and that's where numbers are so important in your business. Everything boils down to numbers. If you crunch the numbers and you see, okay, this is not working for this many times, I've tried this so many times, I've called so many times, I have used this system so many times, I've used this company and it's not working, we need to change it. So if you have tracking and accountability, you can even go back to the people you're working with and have that document of tracking and accountability. So measurability is the key thing to bring about change, and it allows you to even easily replace things in your business. Hey, this is not working, I tracked it, here's how many attempts I made at doing it this way, it is not working. So that's how. And I have actually also built a complete tool. It's called the Change Manufacturer, where you can actually manufacture change, and they can scan the QR code and get the tool and all that. It's a great tool. It actually goes into your mindset, identity, your beliefs, your habits, and the resources that you have to bring about change. So these are some of the key things. We identify ourselves with something. We have belief, what I call BS. We have a BS in us. It's a belief system that blocks our mind from change.
Okay. I like that. So tell us more about the change tool, the change manufacturer.
So the change manufacturer tool, basically, first of all, there's 4 elements. Okay. So the first is recognition. Okay. So the first is recognition. So recognition means recognizes the fact that you need change. Okay. So many people have that block of mind. I don't need to change anything. Okay. This is who I am. This is the way I am. This is who I am. Take it or leave it, right? And that sometimes hurts you, right? So the first step is recognizing, and that can only happen by asking yourself some key questions, and telling yourself that this is not working for you. Once you have recognition, then you have replacement. Okay, so once you have replacement, then you have once you replace with the identities, the beliefs, the habits, and so there are four key elements that we talk about: reproduction and recreation, and then the fourth element is consistency, that where you make it happen.
So one is recognition, two is
Yep.
replacement, three
Yep.
is, what's three again?
Reproduction.
Reproduction, and four is consistency. Got it.
Yep.
So this tool will help us. Well, it is true. A lot of people have had tremendous difficulty in shifting to the more digital landscape that we found ourselves in after Corona. They had difficulty shifting to the Zoom setting, the online form of networking. So there was a lot of resistance to the digital landscape. What is your thought on that?
This is actually, it has put us 5 years ahead with this whole pandemic, because we're forced to do things digitally. And this is how we were supposed to do anyway to be more productive, be more effective. For example, the meetings, many of the meetings were not necessary. Many of the meetings were just feel good, talk to each other. You felt like you did something with your time, but nothing really happened. And the Zoom led into, okay, why is this meeting necessary? And asking, what is the purpose of this meeting? What are we going to accomplish with this meeting? How is it going to benefit you and me? So when all these things are done, it actually makes it more productive. And the driving time, that was done from reaching from point A to point B has added more time for people to do more and more good work, which is many a times behind the scenes work, where you're not meeting anybody, but where you're actually doing the work. Imagine you're meeting all day long and not being able to produce what you wanted to produce in your business. How would your business run? You can't do that. You have to have some behind the scenes time to plan and execute. Right?
Absolutely. Very important.
So working on the business, this gave a lot of people time to work on the business instead of working in the business.
That's absolutely right. Nothing is more important than that.
Yeah. And experience is the biggest teacher. If we learn from our experiences, I'm going to share 4 key questions where people can learn from their experiences. And then go ahead.
No, go on.
Okay. So people can learn from their experiences. The first question is, before you ask these questions, you want to name the experience. And then you say, okay, what's working in the experience? What worked? What didn't work? Knowing what I know now, if I had to do this all over again, would I have started this at all? Or what could I have done differently to achieve a better result? And the fourth question is, who needs to do what by when? So that 3, what I call WWW of action. You need a website address for action.
Absolutely. This is so powerful. Tell me more about that.
Sure. The Linktree link is someone else's. Okay. He put someone else's Linktree.
Yeah, Linktree, okay. The 1-year breakthrough, and you can also scan the QR code on the screen.
Yep. All right. So the best thing about who needs to do what by when, these are 3 very important questions. Many times, one of the biggest obstacles to change is how. How do you do this? You don't have the knowledge of the how. And because you don't have the knowledge of the how, you either don't do it at all, you don't take the first step, or you try to do it yourself and it takes a long time and you can't do it and you give it up because it's not worth your time. So first of all, it's very important to research, okay, is this something that I need to do it, or is it something that I can find someone who's an expert who can do it? Example is us. Yes, podcast can be done. I can learn how to do podcasts. There's simple tools, there's simple instruction. It's not that difficult. You can get it done, but you're the expert. And it's not just about the technology, it's about your voice. It's about who you are, and relating it to the people. So when you get stuck on the how, figure out the who. And that is the
Ooh,
key thing.
I love that. I really do love that. Every single week, Bamal, you're consistently teaching us so much. It's just unbelievable. And when it comes to what you're talking about, change, do you feel that people need accountability partners to create change?
Absolutely. They do need that. Now, many times it's not possible. Well, I'm just in my business by myself, or I don't feel like that this person that I want to speak to can hold me accountable. So many times, you have to find outside your workplace like mentors or coaches or people that you can work with who can be great accountability partners, because they will tell you the truth. If you suck at it, they're going to tell you at your face. But sometimes, if you have an employee or your spouse or somebody you like and you have them as an accountable partner, you may not get the transparency that you're looking for. And so you may have to step outside and find an accountability partner that is giving you the right accountability that you need to grow. It's like your mirror, and you need the right mirror. You can
Yes,
look
you
at
do.
the foggy mirror and get a true picture of who you are.
That is definitely true. And I just want to say to everybody out there watching, Bamal is my accountability and business coach expert. He's helping me design processes, helping me design trainings, helping me make the changes that I need to make. So, highly recommend working with Bamal. And it's just very important to have a coach. And anybody has a question for Bamal, you get a copy of his book. And so let us know if anybody has any questions or comments on what we're talking about. And this has been a great show. We have a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want to talk about on the topic of the change breakthrough concept?
I'll share a quick story. So this is where change was very difficult. There was a lot of, it was like mostly men in a construction company and a few ladies, right? So there was a language problem where the way people used to talk, and it was not respectful, and it was a toxic environment. So, and this had been going on for so many years. So very first thing, I build out a culture. That it's very important to build a culture in a company, right? And culture drives everything. So we started building a culture, and I can tell you, culture is not built from the top. Many companies make the mistake of building the culture. Hey, this is who we are as a company, and this is how everybody it needs to be built together with the team. And when it's built together with the team, it makes an amazing difference. And that's what we did, and it made a big impact, where everybody's voice was heard and presented, and then the cultural values were built and implemented, and a story was told. A 2-minute story was told every weekly meeting that they had, and it made a big change in the company. It took their
Wow.
sales to another level. Almost doubled their sales. So many people say, "What does culture have to do with sales?" Sales is sales. No, culture has to do things with sales.
Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. I love the laws that you taught us today. I encourage everyone to take a picture of the QR code on the screen and book a session with Bamal. Hire him as your business expert if you want to take your business to the next level. Bamal is a phenomenal mentor and business expert to do that with. You can also copy this link tree, scan the QR code, and connect with Bamal Shah, host of the Laws of Business Breakthroughs. We will be back every Monday at 10:30. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.
Make it a great day, Blanca. Thank you.
You too, Bamal. Thank you. All right, come back into the show.